Why does being a manager feel so hard? And how can we make it easier? In this quick video, I'll break it down. And this is aimed for existing managers. But if you're someone who's thinking about being a manager someday, or you're in HR supporting a team of managers, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I'll be making videos for those groups very soon. Now, if you're a manager and you think, this does just feel so hard, you're not alone, because the Association for Talent Development just did a research study in September 2025. In their research, which was people that are managers, 63% of those said that being a manager was more challenging than they expected, and that around half didn't get training and development from their organization about specifically being a manager. So if you do feel this way, sometimes it's helpful to know that you don't feel alone. Because I talk to, whether it's managers or HR leaders constantly, and frequently they'll say, we don't have training and development. We take our good employees, promote them to manager, and, expect them to figure it out, and I wish we could provide something, but we just don't have time. And so knowing that oftentimes it's just this assumption that because you're good at your job and doing a job, that you can then lead a whole team of people doing that job, and that should be magic. But frequently what happens is if you're good at your job, you may be good at it because you learned a while ago, or you feel like it's just natural for you to do something. When it flips and now you're leading a team, all of a sudden you're expected to lead everybody. So not just people that can do it like you could, but those people that maybe aren't as strong performers, or those people that are newer to the team. Now you're expected to train them. And you may think to yourself, I don't know, I just do it. And on top of actually doing the job and teaching people how to do the job or do it better, you then have all the people things that come into play. So right in the middle of a busy project, someone has to take unexpected time off. Or you want to delegate things, but you just feel like you're so busy because it feels like it takes so much time, and you just end up doing it yourself, or you feel guilty because you tell someone how to do it, and all of a sudden you don't want to be a micromanager. And these are very real challenges. And I've seen those from organizations across industry. It's not just one particular one. Whether it's a restaurant and a manager frustrated about call-outs, or whether it's healthcare and trying to balance patient care and also giving people opportunities to grow, or a remote tech organization where managers are trying to build connection and motivate people and everyone has their cameras off. There's so many challenges that people have across organizations. And so some of the things that can be most helpful to do as an existing manager is, one, to take a breath. Like right now, if you are watching this video and you are looking for resources to be a better manager, you are better than you probably think that you are. I don't have an exact percentage, but so many people just get into the role and you just wing it. And so if your organization, especially if your organization is one of those, half of organizations or so that don't offer any training on leadership development, and you're trying to find resources yourself, that's one of the reasons I create videos here, longer ones on YouTube, other shorter ones on different social media channels. But I provide those, and others do, to actually give you practical tips, again, using those across industry. But so knowing, first of all, because you're thinking about being a better manager, that says a lot about your character and what you care about your team to help to drive their work and get results, but also help their careers. Because that's the second step. Your impact as a manager is so much more than just, what you got done today or what your team got done today. It is important to get results. That's your organization, whether you're a for-profit company, a nonprofit, a government organization. It's important to meet and achieve and exceed goals to be able to keep everything running no matter what your function is and how you and your team contribute. But knowing that your impact is beyond just what happened today. It's whether your team feels like they want to show up tomorrow, and then what your team wants to do in their careers. I say very scientific studies constantly in social media comments, but things where, sometimes people talk about their manager, and you may have never had a manager that has the qualities that you want to be. You may have gone into management and every day trying to lead the exact opposite of leaders that you had. But other times, I see comments from people that talk about a boss that they had that changed their life. Sometimes it's just that understanding of, I did have unexpected time off, and I was so afraid to tell my boss, and they were like, we will figure it out. We'll take care of it. Other times it's talking about development opportunities, or your manager talking about making mistakes and that it's okay. And so just knowing your impact is so much greater. There's a UKG study now from a couple years ago that said that a manager has more of an impact on employees' health than their doctor or their therapist if they see a therapist. And that's huge. Because overall, you are a very real character in the lives of your team. So it's not just what happened today. It's how they feel. if they do make a mistake? Do they have a pit in their stomach? Or do they feel like, okay, I can talk to you about it and have that conversation? And sure, talk about how to make fewer mistakes moving forward, but also how to fix this one together and they feel like they can grow. And so just knowing your impact on your team's life and work is huge. And that's the flip, is also talking to your team about the things that you've learned and the things that you've done. Because no matter where you are in management, whether you're a first-line supervisor new to the role, you're an experienced senior executive, anywhere in between, you likely learn lessons, and you probably learn some of them the hard way. Now, like most people, you don't tend to go around sharing the things that went wrong because, things like resumes or speaker bios or just introductions, people generally focus on the highlights. But when it comes to people that you're working with, your team members, a bigger team, if you have teams of teams reporting to you, those people want to see that you're human and they want to learn from the lessons that you learned. And so pausing to think to yourself, what are some of the things I learned? One of the ways you can do that is to share about a time that you did make a mistake. What happened? What you learned from it? What you did moving forward to avoid repeating it, but also how that helped you to think about when others make mistakes and in that approach that you bring to leadership. Because then knowing to yourself, things are going to go wrong. When people unexpectedly need time off or someone does make a mistake, it rarely happens at a convenient time. But knowing that things will be okay, and oftentimes the thing that you can do to your team is, okay, bring a sense of calm. All right, we will figure it out. And sometimes it's a whole conversation about, okay, what should we do next? But just knowing when you bring a sense of calm as a manager, you bring that to your team and you have conversations and you think about, okay, all right, this might be a tough message to deliver, but we're going to do it. And it doesn't do us any good to get stressed about it now. Let's figure it out. And talking about that collaboratively, you end up creating a team that does feel more comfortable. They tend to ask questions rather than hold them inside and worry about making mistakes. And so that's the last thing. As a manager, is one of the best things you do is ask questions. To talk to your team and get a sense of them. You may have team members, you may watch this and I ask, okay, for your team members, what's their background? What are they interested in? Like meaning career background, things like that. What are lessons that they learned? What are they really interested in? You may know for some, you may make assumptions for others, but some of these are just thinking about questions that you can ask to your team members, because these are all some of the best things that you can do. Your team is not looking to you to be perfect. Your team is not looking to you to do it all. They may think that you can. And so in these different steps, so again, knowing it's challenging, taking advantage of whatever learning and development opportunities you can get and you can find, also thinking about asking questions to your team and remembering the impact you have on your work and your life. When you have those habits, it can totally transform the way you lead, because knowing no matter what, things will work out okay. Like think about something you were super stressed out about. Maybe last year or a few months ago, maybe even last week or yesterday. Then think about how it got resolved. Likely things generally end up okay. And think about how you can bring that mindset in the future to bring a sense of calm and to lead your teams. Because even if things sometimes feel really challenging, again, this is the impact that you have on your teams. To think about the impact you have on your work and life, asking questions, and being that leader that maybe you always wish that you had. If you're looking for more resources as an individual manager, we have Manager 101, which is our foundational course with videos and a resource guide that gives you all sorts of tips, from how to delegate, to talk about performance, to difficult conversations and what to do in any type of difficult conversation for you. Also Manager 201, which is the next level strategic course for things like goals, what to do and how to make sure goals get executed, how to plan your time against it, how to think about managing your team's careers, and also make sure that you're not burning out in the process. So we have those two different courses if you do have a budget that you can invest just a bit in your own leadership development. But either way, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we're always trying to give practical tips to help you be the leader that you really want to be and that your team deserves.